Bill Moseley,
Danielle Harris,
Dick Warlock,
George Romero,
Kane Hodder,
Robert England,
Ronnie Blakely,
CJ Graham.
and you're listening to
Deep in the Horror of Texas.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh, hey, you okay?
Damn enchilada!
You gonna be alright?
I'm feeling woozy here. What's in the box?
It's Blackest Time.
What's in the fucking box?
Anything!
Something like time.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Deep in the Heart of Texas. This is Jeff.
I'm Nathan.
And this is Ralph.
We're here for probably our last episode of the year. This is going to be our best of 2018. So either you're listening to this at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year. So either way, you know.
This is baffling that this is like already we're at the end of 2018. Like
It went by fast.
it went by stupid fast. Jesus.
Oh,
Like hell, I don't remember half the shit I watched this year.
yeah.
Let alone to be able to make a fucking list.
And I would love to keep a list of everything I watch throughout the year, but
Maybe something else.
yeah, I'd do something else.
Yeah, Sammy came to me today and she was like, "Hey, there's another movie we watched that you said you were going to put on your list," and I was just like, "Name it." She's like, "I can't." I was like, "Then I ain't." Fucking forget it.
Oh fuck! I'm not gonna.
If I watched it like a month ago, I don't remember it.
For cramming for this, I think maybe not every week, but for like the last 2-3 days, I was watching like some 2018 movies that slipped away from me. So I was watching maybe 2 or 3 a night that I had not seen, just so I can kind of get to par of like, okay, I have a good idea of like I some things that people had mentioned on the interwebs as like, hey, this is something that's worth watching. It totally went underneath my radar, or I forgot about it, and then I had to go back and like rewatch it. So that was kind of cool. It's been a fun couple of nights catching up on some stuff.
Yeah, it was like the middle of the year. I did not watch like
Anything?
any horror.
I didn't watch shit.
It was weird. It was during the surgery, so it was like I couldn't go to the theater, and then it was like, you know, I'm on the FBI warnings blacklist for downloading movies, so I can't do that.
I crammed a lot during October. Like October, since
Yeah.
I was doing that Halloween thing, I was like, I
Yeah.
watched a couple of things that were old, but man, I watched a lot of stuff that was new, and some of it was not good.
Yeah, I want to say October, roughly around like there's a couple of months around October that I watched the majority of the horror movies. But then again, I think that's pretty much common for all of us here.
Gotcha.
That Halloween's rolling around, and you're like, oh fuck, I need to watch some fucking horror movies now, you know. So I
Meanwhile,
think-
we were stuck, you know, balls
Watching-
deep in the Michael Myers series.
yeah,
Yeah.
as much of a fucking roller coaster that was. Jesus.
I told you, hang in there.
Yeah, he hung like a fucking like one of those like kitty posters that you see, those motivational posters where
Yeah.
the cat's like just
The
hanging
cat's
there.
hanging there.
But instead of it being like the cat's wearing the Michael Myers mask. Hang in there, it gets better, I promise.
Is it the good Michael Myers mask? That's a tricky question.
No,
Yeah,
it was Resurrections.
The bleached one out.
It was the
Super
Resurrection.
tight
At least
bleached.
it wasn't part 4s.
The turtleneck.
That's part 5.
Oh yeah, part 5.
They're all
Yeah.
blurring together.
Yeah.
See, 2018 just blurred all of us together with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a steady dose of painkillers. I don't remember about 4 months.
That helps.
That definitely helps. Especially get a little fucking like alcoholic cocktail in there.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
my god.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You use your pill bottle as a salt shaker.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Perfect. So
Anywho,
Appetite.
going on our personal lives, we are here to do our best of, as we said, but we're also going to give you some honorables And the worst of this year.
Dishonorable.
Yeah, disavowed.
So what do we want to start them off with the shit, the runner-ups?
I
or
love
like
starting with the
top
shit. It only gets better.
It only gets better. Oh my god.
So let's do our worst of list. Who wants to start us?
Don't look at me because I didn't watch a whole lot this year to be able to get a worst of.
Oh, look at you, Jeff.
I caught Winchester.
Ooh.
That was a one I caught really early because I had great high hopes for Winchester. I thought it was going to be like this really cool haunted house story because, you know, you look into the lore of the Winchester house and then you see this film about it and it had production value out the yin yang, great actors, all this stuff. And I don't know if it was a case of too many cooks in the kitchen or what, but it just didn't leave that strong, I'm going to return to this movie kind of vibe after I finished it. But it's worth a rent if you're just laying back, you know, with a glass of whiskey and want to watch something that's mediocre as hell, in my opinion.
Jesus. The worst. My number 3 would be Predator. Strangely enough, this movie was fun. I'm not going to completely damn it. It's definitely a rent. But, man, the script is kind of clunky, really bad. Like the comedy scenes are not very funny. There's a couple of lines that are pretty good in it, like, you know, what's the difference between a joke and 5 black men? Your mom can't handle a joke or some shit.
You
like
butchered that, but
yeah, whatever it is. They got some good lines in there, but overall, it's just kind of mediocre. And most of these are going off of my personal feelings towards it. Like, did I have fun? Was it like, you know, it's not like, oh my God, this is the greatest movie ever. It's just what it put me through in the theater, and Predator was underwhelming.
Oh man, I returned to it again on 4K, and me and my son watched it, and it's just like I can't say anything bad about Fred Dekker or Shane Black as much as I'd like to.
Yeah,
Hey, no,
it's
as much as I'd like to talk bad about the film, not Fred Dekker and Shane Black, I take that back. But the film itself was just fun. It's popcorn fun.
Well, it's hard because I'm a big Shane Black fan. I love his work and I love his scripts, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys. All those were really fun dialogue movies, you know, word plays. And this one, it just didn't work. The delivery was off. And, you know, and the storyline was just kind of like, oh, okay, there's a predator dog. Oh, there's a bigger predator. Oh, it's just kind of like, we've seen this before. I thought it'd be something new.
They travel in herds.
I love that.
Indeed.
For me, Halloween 2018 was horrible.
Thank you.
Get the fuck out of here. You know that's getting fucking edited.
Oh, no, I kid. Slenderman was absolute dog shit. That movie was essentially, they were trying to play on the, I don't know.
Creepypasta.
Creepypasta, but I don't know how many of you listeners kept up with it, but at one point in time, I can't remember when the trial was, but whenever Slenderman was like a big thing, some teenage kids, 3 like 13-year-old girls, ended up killing another child as a sacrifice to Slenderman, and they got caught, and pretty much there was this whole trial process, and like everything came to an end. I want to say this year or last year, and thus they ended up making the Slenderman movie to try and try to jump on that, see if they can get shock value or just to bring it back up to light. Or
well, it was folklore before the murders.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was an internet folklore that people made up, and they like photoshopped him into old fucking photos and shit. And these kids took it seriously and thought he was a real thing, so they sacrificed another child to this fake internet thing, and then they ended up making this movie, which was kind of in bad taste.
Boying in hell, bitches.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think both of them I think all the kids ended up getting charged with
What didn't you like about the film?
It was poorly shot. It kind of felt like they were trying to capture the entire like Ringu vibe, or like the Ring vibe, with like the shock value, like flashing of like scares and like stupid little imagery and whatnot.
Yeah,
it just that, and it was a PG-13 fucking horror movie.
And you're always running it's a tightrope.
Yeah, you're running that risk of it being horrible because you can't do a whole lot with that PG-13 rating.
Totally.
But yeah, this movie was just absolute dog shit garbage. So that's the beginning of my fucking horrible list.
I watched this film called Toy Box, and the only reason I think I watched it is because I saw it plugged at TFW. It was one of the films done by I forget her name, but she was there. She had a role in the OC or something like that. I forget, and she was in Sixth Sense. I forget the actress, but she starred in this film, and I watched it, and it was about like a haunted trailer. So it was literally somewhere between Maximum Overdrive and like a haunted house story, because it was like this serial killer had kind of killed people in a trailer, and the trailer had this haunted presence, and it was funny because like you would get stuck in the trailer and you would get killed by this ghost of the serial killer in this trailer, and the trailer would move on its own and kind of drive through the desert, and it was kind of like somewhere between that film Rubber and like some really bad haunted house film. But yeah, Toy Box was just, it was unique for what it was, but it was god awful. But it was one of those weird things that you kind of just watch because it was on the.
Was that a Netflix release?
I'm not sure. It was just it was plugged at TFW, and I ended up just picking it up and trying it out.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me would be Overlord. Again, it's a competent movie. It's well shot. Acting's all right. But just overall, the storyline is uninspired, and it's just kind of a jumbled mess. So in theaters, I kind of enjoyed the first like 30, 40 minutes of it. And then the rest, I was just kind of like, oh, God, I should watch the back of my eyelids. Yeah, it's kind of a swing and a miss. Some people really like this movie, and I could see why. It's like I said, there's enough here to be entertained. But if you think about it, it's just very implausible. So that's my number 2.
For me, next one up, I'm glad you brought up Overlord, Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh,
surprisingly
God,
enough, this fucking happened this year, back in February after the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All of us were so goddamn excited for this movie, only to realize that this is absolute garbage. Like it's a horrible like addition to the Cloverfield storyline, the trilogy, and for them to even consider that this was supposed to be part of it was a bit rough, because it was like, what the hell, like what happened? There was promise, there was excitement in there, and then whenever you get this movie, you got kind of like a mix between Arrival and Interstellar, and just like amalgamation of just bullshit after that. There was no connection to the trilogy, or to like the previous 2 movies of Cloverfield Lane and Cloverfield. Like the only real connection was really like that one like 10-second snippet of the guy being interviewed at the beginning of it, and then the big kaboom. The earth-shattering kaboom!
That film really deserves its own category. That should we should have like the shit pile list. Like if you own a DVD copy, put it at the bottom of your toilet right over the O-ring and shit on it.
Oh shit, if we had
then
that
flush
category,
and let the shit pass right through the movie.
if we had that category, Jeff, we would be here till fucking New
Forever.
Year's.
Yeah.
So let's not include that. Just throw
we
it
got
into
partying to do. We got partying.
Yeah,
to do.
we got.
That's a film that stands alone in its own category.
Very much so.
But like, hell, I don't think I need to explain myself
Yeah.
as to why this one belongs there. If you need an explanation, just go listen to our previous episode. Like we shit all over this. It's horrible.
Tell you the truth, I thought that was February of last year.
No, see, everything's blurring together.
I should revise my list.
Well,
I'll go right at the top of my best of shit.
So, but yeah, like this movie, like it had promising actors, but it had
nothing.
It had nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
So, like, meh.
You could have done so much with that movie. Never mind.
Oh, there's
Go
so
listen
much.
to our old review of it.
Yeah, go listen to the old review. I don't want to spend like 20 minutes like rehashing old shit. You know.
Oh, I will. I've got to shit, so I will shit on that movie.
We'll come back to that next time. Jeff, take it away before we get into that one.
Fucking horrible.
One film I caught was He's Out There. It was with Yvonne Strahovski, who's comes out in The Handmaiden, and she also came out in The Predator.
Fucking love Yvonne Strahovski.
Oh man, this one I wanted it to be better, but it wasn't that great. It was kind of like mediocre Strangers. The Strangers meets like I'm trying to think, like kind of like The Babysitter, I guess. But it was just, it never picked up the right pace, and it didn't really carry out the way I felt it could have. But it was one of those hit. You know, it could have been a hit, but it was a definite miss.
Yeah,
But,
swing and a miss.
Yeah,
It just sucks because again, I like Yvonne Strahovski as an actress, and just to see her in that was just rough.
she didn't. I don't know. It could have been better.
Yeah, it definitely could have been.
Well, it couldn't have been worse than my number one, The Meg. This was a shit fest of a film. Again, competently made, and it's beautifully shot, but the script is over fucking predictable. Yeah, it's a PG-13 movie, but look, Jaws is PG, and that did fucking amazing things. What they did with this was just give a simplistic story. I mean, it was enough to where I could just be like, yeah, there's going to be 2 sharks. Yeah, this, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And it just plays, dude, just in theaters. I went and saw it with Jeff and his kid, and they were having fun as father and son, which is fine, but I was just miserable, rolling my eyes the entire fucking time. Yeah, this is my number one worst movie under Cloverfield Paradox. Ralph's, you take the cake for that one, Tier.
Well, Cloverfield Paradox was hard.
Oh,
Let me stop. Okay, so top worst one for me was Feral. Fucking that one was. It was hard to watch first and foremost because of like the gore effects. It had kind of like a Cronenbergish kind of feel to it whenever it came to like the practical gore effects. But I think what really killed it for me was that I went in not knowing that Scout from the Halloween remake franchise was in it, and needless to say,
she's great.
There's a lot of alcohol needed for this one.
She's good, huh?
Like, the movie got released as a limited release in 2015, or not 2015, May 25th of 2018, and it got released to streaming service the same fucking day. Like, the movie's rough, because essentially, like, what ends up happening, they go, like, the 2 main characters, Scout and what's her fuck, end up going to like this vacation spot for a bachelorette party, and she gets bitten, and she ends up becoming like this feral like monster thing, and she ends up like regurgitating eggs and shit. It's like, it's very gross out, like awesome, but good God, it's all like, there's a lot of alcohol needed to watch this movie.
Is it just because of her?
A combination of her acting and just everybody else in it, because it's like there's so many things that could have been done to fix the movie, including recasting her. And I needed a lot more alcohol to enjoy it, and I ran out.
Oh, man.
But this movie, if you like gore effects, you like the practical effects, you like the Cronenberg shit, go for it. You'd love it. But don't go in there thinking you're going to get a quality product, because this is something that you'll find in the fucking dollar bin and wish that you paid 25 cents.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that's one of those movies, and
I won't watch anything with her. She's a fucking horrible actress. So
yeah, she's rough. Definitely rough.
You think Cloverfield Paradox would have been better with her in it?
No, that would have like tanked Cloverfield Paradox.
It did tank.
that would like completely kill the franchise. Like, no one would care about Cloverfield at all after that. Like, we wouldn't have gone in to go watch fucking Overlord. Granted, that would have saved us $15 a ticket, but still. But yeah, no, Feral, don't even fucking bother.
All right. Jesus. Let's get, there's the shit in your eye, kids. Let's get into some honorable mentions.
Woo!
These are good honorable mentions. Not horrible. Who wants to go? I'll fucking go.
Go for it.
All right. My number 3 is going to be Nicolas Cage, Mandy. Jeff showed me this movie. It came out on what, VOD or some shit?
Yeah, I got released on VOD.
It was like so surreal and so strange and so well shot and wonderfully acted. I never thought I'd see Thomas Wayne's dick, but there it is. It's just a weird movie, man. It's surreal, and it's weird because I didn't really think of it as a horror movie, but it is like a thriller horror movie, which is strange because it's not like over scary, but it's just a fucking odd story. Yeah, definite watch. Didn't pick that one up because it is It's fun. It took me a while to get through it too, because it was like every time I watched it, they would get to the music scene where everybody's tripping on, hallucinogenic, and every time it like took me back to like Nam, I'd just fall asleep. So yeah, definitely check that one out.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Let's mix up the turnaround. Jeff, you go now.
I just recently got to see the house that Jack built. I've been looking forward to this one. I was going to catch it at Alamo unrated, but I had to luck out and wait for VOD. And catching it at the house, it was probably the best way to catch it. It's over a 2-hour film. It's like 2.5 hours. And it's Matt Dillon playing a serial killer. And it's very in vein of like something like American Psycho meets something more surreal, kind of like I Heart Huckabees. But it was amazing. It was probably one of my favorite Matt Dillon films. But Lars Van Tiers does the film, and if you've ever seen Nymphomaniac or his earlier work, Melancholia, those are great art house films, and this was just in vein of it, but it was in that horror serial killer realm, and it was just like Lars just doing next level shit, and I thought it was very, it had me excited all the way to the end of the film. And when you get to that little epilogue, it was the twist on the cap. It was like something you didn't see coming out of left field, and it played very well. So it's a big recommend for me. I can't wait to own it unrated and watch it again, because I see that there's a reason that a lot of people walked out at Sundance on this film, and for people that don't like to see kids get murdered, stay away from it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if I remember correctly, this one was kind of rough for a lot of people to watch, just due to the imagery.
This is very sadistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, oh, he murders people. He does some stuff that's pretty on the very sadistic side, and it goes, it's film, so I just turn a blind eye to it and enjoy it as a film. Mm-hmm. And it's a very fucking amazing, fun experience. But yeah, if you're shy about seeing children get murdered, then just off to the next one, watch something else.
Well,
but
didn't they release like a one-time uncut version of this film?
At Alamo Drafthouse, they played it once, and they didn't get the clearance from the MSRB, whatever the rating board.
MPAA.
Yeah, so they didn't get the clearance for it. So they only showed it that one time, and then they got their ass chewed for doing it.
Yeah.
MSRP. Like
yeah.
The total window sticker price of this car.
The manufacturing sales price.
Yeah.
But
I know you and me were trying to get together on that one. I just couldn't get my shit together to be able to
to
do
the
it.
day I was like, can you go? Can you go? And I ended up missing it too, because I don't know. I didn't want to make the drive all the way to Alamo just to catch it. But then
that's a long drive.
But I didn't lose my shit, because I got to watch it a couple of weeks later at home, because it's available now on VOD.
Yeah.
And I just missed maybe like minutes, because that's literally what they cut out, is like that scene with the children. They kind of just trimmed that down. And even in the trim form, being a rated R film, it's still pretty
rough.
Yeah, because it's like sadistic, like I said. But it was good, because Matt Dillon does such a great job at being. It's like Christian Bale plays more of a comedic kind of serial killer, because that was like the book, and that was the film. And this one's very like, what if you had OCD and you're a serial killer, and how does this take place? And they just visually tell you that story so well that I was enthralled. It didn't feel like a 2.5 hour movie. It went by really fast, and it was fun. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to watching it again, but I'm probably going to wait for the uncut version to watch it again.
Yeah. Okay. Cool deal. Like, I'll have to maybe sit down and watch that with you. I don't know. I was kind of on the fence on it whenever I saw the trailer, or whenever I was fine with it when I saw the trailer, and then I watched a thing on it, and I was kind of iffy with it, and then you were like, hey, let's go watch it. I'm like, oh, I want to see it, but it's one of those, like, curiosity things. It's out of sheer curiosity.
It's the closest I think we will ever get to, like, Tarantino doing a horror film.
Oh, okay.
So that's the reason I was like, wow, this is really good.
Okay.
Like,
one day, if you get us all sit down and watch it, I'll sit down. For me, like it just barely made it into this list. Like, this is bottom for me. Bottom of the honorable mentions, Quiet Place.
Oh,
it was an enjoyable movie.
It's awesome.
John Krasinski and Emily Blunt do an amazing job in the movie. Story is very well written. A few choice moments that I would change in there, but that's just nitpicking, really. The movie is great, but the problem that I have with it is, we've all mentioned it whenever we did the review on this one. You get a different kind of what the atmosphere
Mhm.
if you watch it in the theater versus watching it at home. Because in the theater, just something about that, it just being quiet, you know, like you don't really, you have to watch it in like absolute silence. And when you're watching it at home, you can have the dog barking in the background, you can hear the fucking like washing machine going off, you can hear the fucking like next door neighbors fucking yelling at each other. Like you can't get that same experience.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. You can't get that same experience like trying to do that versus watching it in the theater, because you need to have that kind of immersion for this type of movie, because you need to feel that dread with them. Like the fact that like even the little shit of like them making dinner, if you notice, they're not using plates, they're using fucking kale leaves, and they're using their hands to eat with everything. They're doing everything as quietly as possible, and that's how you're supposed to watch the movie, as quietly as possible. And if you have other shit going on in the background, you're not going to get the same experience that you would in the theater. But like revisiting it, it was a great watch. Just wish I would have had like noise canceling headphones or something, you know, just to do something a little bit better.
Yeah, that was something I was worried about when we reviewed it. I said the home media experience I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
At the theater, you got a screen in front of you. That's it. So if you got a noisy, choir of black women behind you, just tell the theater manager, get them kicked out.
There you go.
So my next one is a film by Brian Taylor. It's weird because it's listed as a 2017, but it is actually released January 18th of 2018. Is Mom and Dad, another Nicolas Cage movie, and Selma Blair. I'm not a big Nicolas Cage fan. I think the guy's just a fucking goofball.
Oh, come on, the bees, man. The bees, not the bees
I think
again.
most of America agrees with me on that statement, because these, like Mandy and this other movie, they didn't get wide releases, and if they did get released, they didn't make shit. But they're super high, critically acclaimed. And watching Mandy and Mom and Dad, man, Mom and Dad was just something I stumbled across on Hulu, and god damn, it's funny. Is it a horror movie? Hey, well, yeah, it's a comedy horror movie. Selma Blair, I love her. I love her in just about anything she's in except that Fog remake. It was a good movie, and being from this guy, fucking Brian Taylor, this guy did Crank, the series, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. I shouldn't like him, but this was his last movie, and I was digging the fuck out of it. So there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
One I got to watch recently was kind of in vein of The Quiet Place. It's called Bird Box, and it comes out on Netflix on December 21st, I believe. And it was really, really good. It stars Sandra Bullock, and she plays kind of like there's this disease going around, and it causes people to kind of kill themselves. And basically you have to wear a blindfold because it's just something different that everybody sees. It could be your dead relative or something horrific, but it's something different that everybody's seen. And so you're constantly trying to stay indoors, because anytime you venture outside, it's when you encounter a vision that just basically sets off that neurological reaction for you to kill yourself or harm somebody. So it plays very Miss meets The Quiet Place, and I can't recommend it more. I think everybody should check it on Netflix and give it a shot. It's very, very fun. I liked it a lot.
It's on Netflix. Right?
Yeah, the book is I like the book a lot better. I'm on the last couple of chapters, but I gave in. I got a chance to sit down and watch Bird Box, so I was like, I'm gonna watch this just to burn through it. And from what I've read on the book, I enjoyed the book a little bit better, but yeah, it was still a good movie.
That's good. That's good. Next one up for me, I'm kind of bending the rules just a smidge. Satan's Slaves.
You're not allowed to do that.
Too late. I just said it. Satan's Slaves. This one, it was released in 2017 in Indonesia. US didn't get it till 2018. And Shudder, whenever Shudder ended up acquiring, that's whenever I got to watch it after Jeff recommended it to me. Essentially the Indonesian Conjuring. And rightfully so. It was a fun movie. That one, if you haven't had a chance to see it and you have a Shudder account, it's definitely something to sit down and watch. You end up picking up with a family whose mother ends up dying after a strange illness that she's suffered for like 3 years, and now they're being haunted by her ghost and several other ghosts at the same time. And it's one of those movies that really kind of gets under your skin for a lot of the shit that happens in it. It's definitely a really fun film to watch, especially if you got like an evening to kill. It really, like, granted, you do have to kind of watch it either in subtitles or you can watch it dubbed. If you watch it dubbed, then you kind of get that same like Japanese thing where the mouths are still moving but the dialogue is done, kind of thing.
Not in this lifetime.
Oh, it's I don't know, but still, the movie is fun nonetheless. I enjoyed it a lot. It does have elements from Conjuring, and I did get a few elements from The Grudge while watching it. There's some moments in there that feels more Grudge-ish than it does Conjuring. And just the twist ending that they have at the end is like it makes you wanting more. Is the best way I can put it. So yeah, this one for me is a recommend to watch if you get a chance and you have a Shudder account. Definitely sit down and take a look.
All right, I'm going to bend the rules as well.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right.
You let one, all the others want to
That's
fucking do
right.
it.
We're going to flood the gates. Number one for me is Game Night, man, with Jason Bateman and fucking Rachel McAdams. I fucking thought this movie was so fucking funny. It's, it's more black comedy / thriller, but it's mainly just a comedy, and it's just so fucking fun. It's directed by John Francis Daly, who you would know from the movie Waiting. He's Mitch, or Freaks and Geeks. He's the little brother. Him and this guy Jonathan Goldstein always team up and write scripts together and direct together. They did the new National Lampoon's Vacation, a couple other fucking flicks, but dude, this was such a home run. Jason Bateman, I don't know, that guy just has a spot in my soul. He cracks me up when he's like in peril. I don't know what it is. He really is. It's so fucking funny, dude. And if you haven't seen it, right now it's on HBO. It's on the HBO app. That's where I got to watch it. So, yeah, I would definitely put that right at the top of the honorable mentions.
Nice.
So, here we go. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get in the best of?
I could talk about a lot.
So, Ralph,
I got one more. I got one more for my honorable mention.
you're not allowed to.
Too late. Already
Breaking the rules.
Nope. Too late.
All right, I got one more.
I do have one more to add onto the top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the only reason why it didn't make it into my top is because it doesn't have as much horror as I would like it, but the movie is still a very solid movie. Annihilation. This movie, it's more thriller than it is horror, but whenever it comes to the horror, it really nails down horror. Natalie Portman does a really good job in the film. Like, even though I lost all interest in her after fucking Thor. She did Thor. She fucking bashed comic book movies. I was like, well, fuck you too, bitch. And
Ralph will hold a grudge.
I will
against
hold
your
a
ass.
grudge after you. And then she ends up showing up in this movie. I was originally not going to fucking watch it. Then I end up going to see it anyway with a friend of mine, and just there's one scene. Have you watched it yet, Nate?
Dude, this movie is right up my alley of shit I love, but I keep falling asleep. I've tried to watch this movie
All right.
probably 15 fucking times.
I will
Yeah.
dance
I
around.
It's every time they get to the alligator.
Oh man.
Out.
Okay, so
like-
I've got to dance around this then.
No, it's
There's a
fine.
particular-
It's fine.
There's a particular scene that every so often still haunts me in my
A
nightmares.
bear.
Motherfucker.
I already
Yes,
heard about it.
it has. There's a bear in the movie
brought it up.
that you end up. Yeah, he fucking said it, so now I can say it. There's a bear in this movie that is like what horrible nightmares are made out of. The fucking face is like gone, like it's just bone, and you see like some like muscle tendons and whatnot, but it doesn't sound like much. But the thing with this bear is that once it opens its mouth, it mimics the noise of the last thing it ate, and the last thing it ate was their friend. So anytime it would open its mouth to like do anything, they hear their friend screaming for help. and it is just like shivers. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like my spine, like the hair on my spine is like standing up. I can't fucking. The movie nails horror good, and I really enjoyed this movie. I just wish it would have had more of that. The twist ending on that one is interesting because it makes you think that there's going to be another one. I don't know if there is. Don't think so, but just the way that it ended was really cool. It would have been, like I said, it would have been higher up, but it needed some more horror. But it's definitely something to like buy, like in my opinion, buy it and watch it for sure.
Nice.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the best of 2018.
Nice.
Ready, set, Ralph.
Cloverfield Paradox.
You're full of shit.
That was a really good movie.
That was great.
It was amazing.
You feel like Event Horizon, you'll want to pluck your own fucking eyes out.
That could happen.
That was like passing through the portal of hell.
Yeah. But instead of like all the horrors happening to you, you get to watch it on screen in the form of Cloverfield Paradox.
That was a terrible one.
For me, like just to knock this list out of the park, there's no particular order for it. Hereditary for me.
Nice.
That one was a really good stand-up horror film for us, for me, and for us here at the table. We all gave it high reviews whenever we did the review for it. It is definitely something to sit down and watch. It is entertaining no matter how many times you watch it. The scares in it, it takes a while to get there to the build-up, but whenever it gets there, it just does not stop. The scenes with the mom at the very end is what really, that's your cherry on top of this fucking amazing fucking Sunday. You savor every moment of it, but once you get to that, oh my god, that's the best fucking part. The movie does a lot with like religion and whatnot. The only thing I would have changed is the fucking ending. The ending felt a little long in the tooth, but the movie is still fun, entertaining. There's a lot of connections that you make from like the beginning of the movie to the end. Like by the time you get to the end, you have to rewatch it to pick up on all the little nuances. The movie is definitely something I would highly recommend to watch. Drama, horror, mystery, fucking creepy kids, creepy grandmothers, creepy mothers, like it has it all. Go just sit down and fucking watch it.
All right, I will.
No, you won't. Don't lie to me.
That's hilarious.
Number 3 for me is going to be Summer of '84. This is right up my alley. It took me back to being, a kid, and that's important in a film. If you're going to do something in a setting, a time setting, it needs to feel like the setting, and this did. I remember groups getting together and playing hide and go seek in Washington. I remember being a part of that as a little kid, and that shit doesn't really exist anymore. It's sad, but it takes me back to a time and place. Now, when my wife and me watched this, she was like, man, 45 minutes in the movie, she's like, I'm fucking bored. And I was just like, how can you be bored? Of course she's on her phone and all this other shit. Stay till the end. The end, usually in movies, the ending is the letdown. The ending is the spice in this movie. I mean, it's the reveal and what follows, the cat chase, the cat and mouse. It's so well fucking done. So I give it my 3rd spot easily. I mean, it should be higher, but the next couple two are near and dear to me. And to mention, this was the director of Turbo Kid, the 3 directors that always work together. That was a terrific movie. This isn't on the level of Turbo Kid, but it's still number 3.
Gotcha. Mine was this new film on Shudder called Terrified. It's in Spanish, but it was very scary, and
¿Quién es tu papi?
it was it played horror at a really cool level where I don't know, I hadn't seen it done before, and that was something new for me, and seeing something new was just very welcome in the genre. But yeah, Terrified on Shudder. Can't recommend it more. Give it a shot. Just search it out and watch it. It plays on a lot of the weird takes on what happens when I don't know, when you tap into paradimensional fucking supernatural. So definitely a good scare.
Yeah, that one's definitely a good one to watch because that's another one that Jeff recommended. He fucking uses my Shudder account more than I fucking do, and he finds all this shit before I do, and so he makes all these great recommendations. That's actually a really good one. So like, I'm sure a lot of y'all know I'm really big into like the fucking spooky ghost stories and whatnot, and this one is a good one to pick up and watch if you get time and you're willing to sit down and like read through the subtitles as it's going through. Like, it's definitely a movie you're gonna have to sit down and like watch. You can't just like.
And don't worry
be
if
like
you
me.
if you don't have the capabilities. Guillermo del Toro's in play of remaking it. For
Oh, shit, is he?
English speaking.
So Nate can watch it.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I don't speak the language. I don't understand the language.
It should-
I can't fucking sit through the language.
it'll go more mass market probably in a couple of years.
What's
Oh,
weird is I
perfect.
can watch like fucking Finnish movies and Norwegian movies, no problem. I don't
And you
know
know
why.
what's the funny thing? He plays all of his movies with subtitles on.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
but I don't read them. I don't read them. I just hate when you're like listening to a movie and all of a sudden it's super fucking loud with music or action. It's like, oh god, you have to fucking fumble for the remote, and you know,
Or you have no idea what the fucker just said.
yeah. So like, I
I
put it on in case of.
in case of. There you go. That works.
Option number 3.
Option
That's
number
hilarious.
3.
I can read lips, I can listen to it, or I can read the goddamn subtitle if I miss both.
There you go.
Option 3.
Option 3.
That's awesome.
For me, another one that got a earlier release in 2017, but we actually didn't get it till 2018. The Ritual.
Oh,
This
so fucking
movie
great.
was. This is one of my favorite movies. Hell, like whenever I found it on Netflix, I got all I found all the trailers and shit for it. It's like, oh my god, what is this? You know. The story is very well played out. You have these guys that are going like hiking in the hills and whatnot. They're just they're honoring their best friend who got killed. And as they're going through this hike, shit just goes sideways for them. Like anything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. And it just gets worse and worse until they end up getting to where like they have this fucking village that they find that has been like trapped in like a kind of like a time capsule. They haven't progressed any further than whatever year that they were stuck in, you know. And what was like to me the best part was whenever they reveal the Jotun, the fucking beast of the forest, the bastard child of Loki. It's the creature effect for that was beautiful. Jesus. Just those like blank, I can't remember if they were yellow or white eyes just staring at you, and just like this behemoth of a monster chasing you through the woods is terrifying. Like that's every camper's worst nightmare right there, just having something chasing them. That's massive. And this movie just the story, the characters, the development, the creature effects is all like top notch for me on this one. I've watched that movie at least 3 or 4 times, 2 of them during fucking October, because I just wanted something scary to watch in the background while I'm editing you fuckers on fucking computer.
I edited all the October episodes,
No.
you liar.
No, I edited one. But like, this is definitely a movie that I highly recommend. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I'd sit down and watch it, enjoy it, just kick back. If you're listening to this before Christmas or whenever you're listening to this during the December, kick back, get yourself a thing of spiked apple cider, and just fucking enjoy.
Yeah, it's a fucking good one, man. We did a review of that not too long ago,
Mhm.
so it's still up. My number 2, I'm kind of torn with, because I love it, but I also hate it for some reason.
Halloween 2018.
It's Halloween 2018.
Oh shit!
Thank you very
Never
much.
mind.
It actually is, man. I mean, this movie, when I saw it the first time in theater, you can go back and listen to the review. I had a miserable fucking time because of the crowd I was around. Then the next time I watched it, I
Man,
fell in
don't
love
know-
with it.
I don't know what you were dealing with. Me and Jeff were fine.
Yeah, fuck you both.
I'm nodding over there.
It's weird because like it was one that when I watched the first time I was very underwhelmed. Second time I was overly joyous about it. But then we did our review, and after listening to that review, I have a lot of gripes about this movie that I didn't even bring up in the review. Number 1, Judy Greer should not have been in this fucking film. It should have been Danielle Harris. Big misstep. Big missed opportunity on fucking Blumhouse's part. Another thing is Dr. Sardin. The entire entire inclusion of this schmuck should have been fucking shit canned, or at least relegated to that opening scene.
Should have been Dr. Wynn.
No, it shouldn't have been anybody. It
should have been Dr. Wynn.
Should have just fucking left it as is. He's the shrink. He comes back to the town. He doesn't want Michael killed, and he gets ran over. Something. I don't know. Just get him the fuck out of the bad character role where he puts on the mask. I love it. It's fun. It's a good movie, but damn, I have some fucking gripes. The biggest one that I thought of was just like, I am a huge, not huge Danielle Harris film. I'm not seeing all her fucking work, but she's fucking part of the Halloween mythos. So if you wanted to do callbacks to it, it was a big missed opportunity not to include her. Shame on you, but it's number 2.
But it's number 2. Number 2, not number 1. Number 2.
If you think about that movie, it was really good, but there was certain aspects that they just could. We didn't get any fucking corn again, and then
but we got leaves. We got leaves.
They did a good job, but there's just certain things that I'm waiting to see in a fucking Halloween movie, and they're not doing it. And it's like, have you people been to Illinois during October? If you're okay, it's very greenlit to do another one. Go spend a month of the winter over in fucking Illinois. Like, learn the surroundings of the fucking. Anyway, whatever.
It's fucking corn.
Sorry. And then, the Danielle Harris thing really, really, really fucking pisses me off, because that would have been such a wonderful callback.
Do we know if she even
She applied for the role and they said no.
What?
Yeah. It's actually on a controversy on the web, on Wikipedia, but I thought about that long before they even put that. And then there's Nick Castle being relegated to one shot and some ADR breathing. That kind of is a bummer. Yeah. I mean, there's just certain things that weren't right in that film, but it's 40 years later, we finally get a good sequel. So, what are you gonna fucking do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it?
Want to slap in the mouth? I don't know what to tell you. It's a good movie. Just goddamn it, for people that are the franchise fucking fiends and fans that have supported this shit forever. There's some letdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jefferson.
It's fine.
It's fun.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Had an amazing 3-minute tracking shot. It's great.
Oh, it was great. Like, there's some great shit in it, but whatever.
Should have stayed as a trailer.
Yeah.
They should have restrained the trailer.
Yeah, another thing, please don't fucking. Never mind. Whatever. Go listen to the Halloween review.
Mine. This was a tie for me. It was more of a Hitchcockian kind of horror thrillers. It was Bad Samaritan with David Tennant, who plays like the Purple Man, or I forget his name, and Jessica Jones. He's also from Doctor Who.
Yeah, Purple Man.
Bad Samaritan's great. It's kind of like Disturbia, where like these kids are valets, and while they're valeting your car, they're also using your GPS in your vehicle to go rob your house while you're eating dinner. And they go to this one guy's house, and he's super rich. And they go to this one office, and they think it's just an office, but there's a girl tied up in a chair. And now what do? Like, do I steal this guy's credit card that I just found in the mail, or do I call the cops? I mean, they're gonna get me for breaking in, but this girl's tied up. Do I help her? How do I help her? I gotta get a hacksaw. I gotta get her out. Oh shit! My friend's calling me. The guy's done with dinner. He's looking for his car. So everything becomes like a time situation of like, how do I do the right thing without going down and fucking going and getting in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
And and this is just like the first 15 minutes. The rest of the film is like, what happens when you're this rich and you can just cover your ass?
Yeah.
And you have you have constant way of getting out of trouble. So this kid's going against like this really big bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, what happens? And Bad Samaritan, search it out, find it, give it a shot. It had me on the edge of my seat the whole film. Me and my wife it was one of those, like, we'll watch this because we haven't seen it. Let's watch something we haven't seen. And it was great. And we still talk about it, every now and then.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of things that how do you do cool stuff with modern technology? This film did it. And I was like, wow, awesome.
Like
the other-
Ocean's 11 cool stuff, or just
like how do you take advantage of GPS? Okay, how do you take advantage of stealing a credit card? What's the way you can get away with things? All right, how can you backtrack somebody if you're not a super hacker? How can you track down where this guy's going? What's his next step?
Google.
And then how is this guy also shutting down my life because he's going to discredit everything that I am?
LinkedIn.
And it's just fucking next level shit. And it was a really good movie.
yeah.
I was like, wow.
I can't think of any other side. Yahoo.
No, don't you? Well,
And the
Yahoo's had a few scandals.
Who?
Yahoo.
Well, everywhere had scandals.
Well, like no, they
it's the fucking
like,
internet.
Sidetrack.
Anywho.
Yahoo ended up losing like millions of account passwords and didn't tell anybody for
I
like 2
remember.
years.
Yeah. I just
So if
never
you have a
let them-
Yahoo account, transfer it over to Gmail.
or don't. 'Cause that's where that's my domain. I own it.
And anybody who's a fan of Taxi Driver, the writer Paul Schrader, he writes and directs this film that was always been like a big love for him. He always wanted to do this really.
Is this your number one?
No, this is what it's tied for my number 2. Because like I said,
Number
my number 2 is tied. It's a Hitchcockian fucking thing. I couldn't decipher between Bad Samaritan and First Reformed. First Reformed is a Paul Schrader film. It's about a minister that gets to deal with this wife's husband who's on this really despair fucking trip. And as he despairs into like this really dark fucking storyline of like finding purpose to procreate and stuff like that, the minister himself gets lost in the fucking thing, and it gets darker and darker and darker to the point of like what would drive a minister to almost self-immolate, if not create a terrorist attack himself. So like I said, if you're a fan of Hitchcockian thrillers, this is definitely 2 films I would not fucking pass up.
Nice.
Nice.
Definitely check those because I love Hitchcock.
Yeah, no, those are definitely really good ones. Should I go to my number 1?
Do it.
Sweet. So breaking the rules again.
No.
Too late.
What?
So for like horror, to me, it's not a movie, but
Mission Impossible Fallout.
Classic.
maybe.
Fucking great
no,
movie.
Horror, Haunting of Hill House. It's not a movie, but with like 10 episodes, all an hour each. Each episode's a fucking movie, the way I see it. The character development was great in it. Like I loved it. We just listen to our previous episode. I'm not too sure when we post this, when it was posted, what posts next, but
It was last week.
last
2
week,
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Fucking just go back and listen to our review on Haunting of Hill House. I praised it left and right. Like I had no problems with it. This was top of the line for me. It was, like I said, an hour each, 10 hours total. That counts as a movie to me. Fucking everything was perfect for this. And hell, if they end up doing something else with it, go for it. But I'm not going to stick very too long in that because hell, we spent like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours talking about that. Just Haunting of Hill House by itself. Just fucking watch it. Just fucking watch it.
Yep. If you care to listen to 2 grown men swallow, listen to our last review. All right, number 1 for me. I never really I never considered it a horror film. But every goddamn place you go to IMDb, Wikipedia, wherever the fuck you go to search your films.
Oh,
It's
you're breaking
listed.
the rules too?
No, it's listed as a horror film,
Oh,
which
okay.
is, I just considered it kind of a sci-fi. It's considered a cyberpunk action horror, making a whole new fucking genre for yourself there, pal. Is Upgrade. My God, in theaters, I had such fun with this movie. Me and Jeff kept trying to get together, and when we're both working, it's fucking hard, man. It gets crazy to try to even get together for the podcast because we have such fucking wishy-washy hours, and we'll call out and call in and blah 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 blah.
And I'm the only one in the message group going, "We're gonna record today."
Really? Well,
It's just crickets.
like as soon as I'm like, I got like 20 minutes, I'm like, let's do something. But then Jeff's like, I'm at work. It's like, fuck. So I mean, I think we tried like 3 times to go see this movie, 3 or 4 times, like over a weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, the last time Jeff was like, dude, I can't. I got stuck with the kids. And I was just like, you know what? We have officially broken up. This is the 5th time in a weekend, sir. But so I had to go to this movie by myself. I'm pretty sure I watched like one preview of it, and it looked like fun, like awkward camera angles. It kind of had like a through the previews. It almost had kind of a what the fuck is that movie called?
Venom.
Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling, please. Anyone?
Harrison Ford,
Oh, it had kind of like a Blade Runner feel to it almost, and I was just like, okay, Blumhouse. It has this Blade Runner feel. It's got these cool camera angles. I'm digging it. So I had to go to it by myself, and I'm sitting there just watching a fucking fun time. I mean, it's like a 90-minute, maybe a 2-hour movie. It whooshed by so fucking fast. It was just like, that was great. Logan Marshall, if you don't like him, he's from Prometheus and shit. What also helped me throughout the film is I was like, oh, Tom Hardy's in this movie. That looks just like a skinny Tom Hardy.
Totally.
And then we got the bad guy. He was Green Goblin in the Amazing Spider-Mans. There's just a lot of it's written by Leigh Whannell and I believe directed by Leigh Whannell.
Directed by Leigh Whannell.
It was just fucking so much fun, man. The technology in it's fun. I can't say enough good things about it. I love this movie. So yeah, that'd be number one, beating out Halloween by a lot.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's a fun film.
I tell you what, if Halloween had Danielle Harris, it would be like the greatest movie ever made of all time.
Ever?
Gone with the Wind.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. But no, they fucked up.
I think my number one's gonna be. I think I just settled with.
Settled?
Yeah.
No, sir.
You can't settle, sir.
No.
Do not settle.
It has to give you a 9.0 wood.
Dude, I would.
It's got to give you at least a half
It
chub.
would be a 20-way tie for like what I consider to be.
What?
Yeah,
That's a lot of chubs, dude.
That is a lot of chubs.
I kept thumbing through my list, and I was like, you know what? The house with the clock in the walls, in its walls, with
The Jack Black film?
Yeah.
Really?
It brought me back to a lot of the old school Amblin, Steven Spielberg films. Eli Roth did a great job in making this film. It was really fun.
I didn't know that was a horror movie.
It had.
I thought it was Goosebumps 2.0.
Goosebumps 2 is on my list too because that was a good one too. Because like I watch everything. So yeah, I watched these. That was definitely one that I would just recommend to anybody, young, old. Anywhere, because it was just a fun film from beginning to end. It's one of those films that it's going to go in my solid rotation every Halloween, because every Halloween I think this would definitely be in my rotation now. If I had to squeeze in a definite what you would consider a horror thriller, I would lean more to the sci-fi thriller, kind of like what Nate did with Upgrade, and it would be the Netflix film Mute, done by the director who did Moon, and he also did Warcraft, Duncan Jones. Mute was same vein as the same universe as Moon, but it was just next level. I mean, whatever you enjoyed Blade Runner 2049, 2017, Mute in 2018 was just it followed the same linear revenge story plot, and Mute and House, the house with the clock in its walls, so definitely. Ones I would say everybody should give them a shot and watch them.
I did not expect that to be on your list, sir. I didn't even know you went and fucking saw it.
Yep, that and Goosebumps 2 is fun too.
I'm not gonna lie, Jack Black for me is always a rough watch.
Stop it.
Like he's one of those actors that I have to take with like very I have to take it with a very small pinch of salt, kind of like I do with like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like he's great as a side character, but as a primary character, a little rough for me to get around.
Man, I never had those.
You're right. He's better as a supporting character.
Yeah.
And I
like
guess-
Will Ferrell in Old School. Oh my God, he was fucking hysterical in Old School.
Yeah.
Him and Talladega Nights, I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
And I like Talladega Nights and Elf. He's amazing in Elf.
Didn't even bother watching Elf.
See?
He was good enough.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it was a good film. If you're gonna nitpick around the actor, then I guess you're gonna miss a good film, because it was a good film. Because I was like, damn. When I saw the Amblin logo, and I was like, whoa, this is gonna go back to like old school Spielberg-esque kind of films. But it was just fun all around. Even if it didn't have the Amblin logo, it was just Eli Roth directed it. And I was like, wow. And it really had a fun kids vibe with a fun scare factor.
Do you know the aspect ratio for this one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
It was 2 or 3.
So full. Full.
No, widescreen.
Widescreen?
Yeah, it's in scope.
Beautiful.
Start filming movies that fill up our screen. Assholes.
Yeah.
It was great when you had a little fucking round, stupid TV. You know, it was like, oh, okay, this looks at better focus. Well, now we got fucking UHD 4Ks. Fucking fill up our screen. God damn it. And if you really wanted to know number one for the entire fucking year, is Mission Impossible Fallout. That movie's fucking fantastic.
Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom.
What? Oh,
I don't know
God.
that scene where
Stop.
where the boat was pulling away and that Brachiosaurus. Oh, that was heartbreaking.
You know, Sammy and me watched that. She shit on that entire movie.
Really?
And I was like, this is the part that made Ralph cry. And she's like, why? She's
Because I love dinosaurs.
and then it stood up and did its moan. And she's like, oh, its feet are hot.
That was a sad movie.
That was sad.
Oh.
10-year-old Ralph cried because he was like, the dinosaur!
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I just wanted everybody to die in that movie. So it was, it was one of those. Another one that I think we're all missing watching, which is kind of a shock to me, is Suspiria. Maybe they'll if next week we get to it, like if we get to another show and we see it, we'll include it.
It only played for 1 week in Houston. That was gone.
Oh,
I
really?
know.
It's
Yeah.
gone already?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's still playing in Austin if you live in Austin.
Yeah.
But
Very limited.
Don't feel like making that drive again.
Oh, and by the way, I won the bet. 252, sir. I tell you what, you may not agree with my taste, but you know what? I know my fucking box office.
actually, I was probably the closest to being the winner.
How? With 180.
You look at domestic. I'm
Box
sorry.
office is all inclusive.
Yeah.
We didn't say what would it fucking get in Ogden, Utah.
When
We
the-
said what did it
No,
get
I
in
mean, like
box office.
in total interest of a film, you look at what it's domestically going to make in the States. I don't think you would look at it globally. Like, what's it globally going to make?
I look at global. When I say box office, Cuban.
Yeah, see,
Cumulative.
I don't think what the ruples it makes in Russia or what it makes in China
Those
actually
count, sir.
require into what it makes domestically.
You know,
So
the
it's-
euro is worth more than the dollar.
So the domestic, well, the Meg is like one of the biggest films ever this
Oh,
year
yeah.
because what it did in China, because it was actually pointed more to a China market.
and PG-13.
It was aimed at a China market. That was like the biggest thing,
Yeah.
and a lot of films are doing that. They're being aimed for a China market. Just
Well,
look
look
at
at what
any of the
Venom
Mission
did.
Hell,
Impossible
look
films.
at fucking World of Warcraft. It did dog shit here.
But in China,
But oh my god, it blew up in China.
Well, same with Avatar.
and look at the
Fucking
Star
went
Wars
nuts.
series. The Star Wars does well here, but it does shit in China.
Yeah.
It plays like barely a week in China
But
because
that's
because China didn't have a market as long as they just recently opened. So like when they said Star Wars, this is part blah blah blah. Everybody's like, what the fuck is this Star Wars bullshit? And
well, when they make up almost 5/8 of the entire world population, I mean, well, they got 2 billion people. We got like 8 billion people in the world.
yeah.
You know, if half of them see a movie,
Thank you. That's
yeah.
why I would never look at globally first.
Well,
Like,
we're looking at horror. No horror
domestically-
does well in China.
Well, domestically, it did. Halloween did well. It just didn't. It didn't.
Forrest Gump didn't do well in China either, sir.
Venom did amazing in China.
Dude, I
Oh my
know,
God.
and that's what I'm saying. You got a PG movie.
Venom did better than
PG-13.
Infinity War.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
isn't
sad
that
part.
fucking nuts?
That's awesome.
It's a shit of a movie.
In
I mean,
comparison to Infinity War, yeah,
It's a shit of a movie compared to fucking Punisher. like it's not a good movie.
But you know
It's
what's
fun.
I enjoyed Venom more than I do Deadpool 1 and 2.
That's weird to me.
Because like Deadpool,
I enjoyed it more
Deadpool
than
1 was
I enjoyed
great.
it more than Deadpool 2. I don't know about Deadpool 1. I think it's like Deadpool like just narrowly like elbows it out.
Well,
but,
dude,
like,
Deadpool came out of fucking nowhere. Like it was an R-rated Marvel film that was fucking funny. And
Yeah.
you don't really care for
well, I didn't.
lowbrow crass.
I didn't enjoy the narrative of the film. You got maybe 2 action scenes with a lot of fucking origin mixed in
Yeah.
the middle of it, and I was just like throughout the fucking film, I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I'd rather watch Wolverine. The
Logan?
the first
Wolverine
one.
Origins?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
God.
rather watch that again. At least that was an action movie from
Woof.
beginning to end. This was like
Now,
fucking-
the Wolverine, acceptable.
Yeah, Wolverine's acceptable.
Any of the Wolverines are actually pretty good.
Yeah,
That's me, though.
Origin's bad. And Logan, forget about it. That's the greatest movie ever
Yeah,
fucking made.
I watched Logan a lot.
So as far as I'm
Fucking
concerned,
love
that is
Logan.
the best Western ever made. It's the best future movie ever made. It's the best sci-fi. It's the best action.
Best family film.
Fuck yeah.
Best drama
It
film.
is a family film. Yeah, he
Yeah.
reconnects with his little spawn of Jean daughter. Like,
Logan's great.
What happened? Yeah, it was. Venom was just. Oh God, not worthy of that
expecting it.
title.
It was
Not
it
expecting
was
it.
kid friendly upgrade.
You know when,
Yeah.
when it got to
Yeah, kid-friendly upgrade.
when it got to 400 million, I said that movie would top out at like 700. But when it got to 400, I was like,
I think it's sitting at 8 right now.
No, it got over 1. It's
Right.
over $1 billion right now.
But I think the same thing. Venom did okay domestically, but globally, it sunk the
It
ship.
rocked everybody's
Yeah.
fucking world.
That's why I said Halloween barely. I think it barely hit like 100.
It hit like 180,
160.
175. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony's
Domestically.
there with their fucking like money gun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's at 852 million.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's
God.
one film. Almost made $1 billion.
And it's not good. It's not a good movie.
Collect the Homecoming, Spider-Man.
Honestly, you want to see a
Infinity
better
War, all
movie
these
with
films.
Tom Hardy? Watch Locke. That's him driving for an hour and a half in a car,
Sounds
talking
like
on
Mad
cell
Max.
phones. No, it's like literally just a movie, him talking.
It's the equivalent of Ryan Reynolds in Buried. It's just
Yeah. Except there's no flashbacks. There's no flash forwards. He's literally calling to get this job handled because he is leaving.
I'm sorry. If you're a man, if you're
If you're a man,
if you're a man of 18 or older and you've never sat down and watched Willman,
Willman?
yeah. If you haven't seen Willman on Netflix, you just might as well cash in your man card because that is probably one of the quintessential fucking.
I've never
me
even
and Nate
fucking
looked at
heard of
each
it.
other.
that is like the quintessential fucking badass fucking action film. Like I'm just amazed when I meet. If anybody hasn't seen Willman or The Night Comes for Us, it's like you might as well just like you I don't know what you've been watching on TV, but you haven't seen something good yet because these are great fucking
wow,
films.
he's slinging the
Well,
hash.
yeah,
here.
he's
Well,
slinging
those
some
are
shit.
those
'cause-
are two films that I'm like I don't see anybody talk about them.
Where was this in your top?
Yeah.
Well, these
what
are
the
these, are
fuck?
these are action films.
Where's your
if-
man card?
I saw these when they came out, sir.
Well, when they come out?
Fuck a long time ago.
Well, then who the fuck cares?
The Quiet
Jefferson
Place
does.
It's like, dude, I don't know. I like talking about good films. It's just we're stuck talking about horror a lot of times here.
Yeah, that is the sad truth of it all.
And we try because I mean, there's a lot of good horror films, but it's few and
You
far,
may get 5 a year.
few and far between.
Yeah, like
You may. I mean,
horror-
we dug for this one.
horror is one of those franchises you really have to like dig deep to try and find like fucking.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
diamonds
Like
for
anything
a
that's
year.
anything that's domestic, like anything that's released here in the States, it's very few and
Mhm.
very rare. That's why
Well,
you have to look overseas to find
That's how
something.
it used to be.
Like
Recently,
grabbers.
we've been getting good ones. I mean, 2017 or whatever. I don't know when it came out, but we had
It came out.
we had
2017.
to limit ourselves on our last year's list because it was like, okay, the top 3 films are going to be Get Out, blah 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 blah.
and
And we're like, we we had a good list. This year, kind of the same thing. Even though there wasn't an overabundance of horror, it was like, well, concisely, the top 10 films of the year. I went off the beaten path a little bit. You went, I don't even know where you get your shit. And Ralph, me and Ralph went from the heart. Like I didn't include Hereditary or Quiet Place, even though I love Quiet Place, but I just I wanted
and that's the one thing.
something that made me feel in the theater, and these are the movies that did it.
Gotcha. And I look for originality. Like I know Quiet Place it hit all the marks for being original. It just didn't hit that one mark of being memorable. And that's the saddest thing for some films. It's like, yeah, this, and this was really good, but did I remember? Did it hit? Do it
Didn't
for me?
make an impact.
But it's fucking cool though, because that's like I said, this is our preference. This
Yeah.
is like what we're recommending to y'all because it's like, hey, give these a shot.
Right, but you really like that fish movie Guillermo del Toro did,
The Shape of Water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I no,
Dude,
it was all right, but yeah, very unmemorable, very uneventful. So yeah, it's kind of like two birds of the same coin,
yeah. It's
Two
like I
sides of
said,
the
like,
same
and that's
coin.
what I'm saying. For every fucking one person might like it, 50 people probably can team up and not like it,
Mm.
and that's a good thing. Because that's a good thing. Because I mean, find your taste, find what you like. if you don't, like I said, I'll watch all 50 fucking films just so I can have an opinion about them, because it's like I hate to miss out on anything and not have, you know, I'm probably gonna sit down and watch Feral because, you know, I didn't hear about that one, so
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Have fun with Scout.
Yeah.
Man, I can't do it. I
It's
don't
like
know. I don't know how you
injecting
do it.
eggs all over the fucking
like,
place.
honestly, I can tell within, I'd say 20 minutes if I'm going to like a movie. And if not, I fucking turn it off.
Dude.
I don't even bother finishing it.
I had like a list here, and this was just stuff I enjoyed, you know, like Luciferina. I watched that because somebody mentioned it on other podcasts I listened to.
Luciferina?
Yeah, it's an original story. It was fun.
It sounds like a sequel to Despacito.
Despacito. No, this one, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't great, but I mean, it made my list of just something to mention, you know. Insidious Last Key came out this year. I finally got to sit down and watch the Strangers, that sequel, The Prey at Night, and I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
it's
It was
not
pretty
bad.
good. It wasn't horrible. Unfriended Dark Web. I think
hated the
I think
first one.
everybody should see that one. That was actually pretty good. I mean, Netflix had a film called Cam come out.
Yeah, I saw. I read a thing on Cam. That one looks meh.
It was good. I mean, it was original. Like I said, it's something I would put out there as like, give it a shot. I mean, if you're gonna watch, you know, The Great Outdoors again, might as well throw this in the mix too, because it's something different.
Yeah.
May the Devil Take You was a great Raimi Indonesian film. It was like Evil Dead Sam Raimi kind of film,
Yeah.
and this Indonesian director went out there and made this fucking what happens when mom gets possessed, very Deadite kind of like, and it just follows the trend of the whole family. It was very cool. You talked about Apostle earlier this year.
Mhm.
Apostle's great. They did a fucking film version of Bleach, and that was fucking fun. Terrifier is on Netflix, and that one I would say everybody needs to give a shot to. If you like the girl from It Follows, Tao was a good one. It was
Yeah.
about
Tao was not bad. It was about a security system.
Yeah. There was a fucking great zombie film called Cargo that nobody's talking about how a father would carry his kid on his back trying to get him because the father's bit and he's about to turn, so he only has X amount of hours to get his son somewhere where his child will be raised by somebody who's not a fucking zombie like he's about to turn to.
Mhm.
That was a good film. I mean, there's a lot of films out there that I think, you know, if it's off the beaten path, give it a shot. Ghost
Yeah.
Stories, Incident in Ghostland, Delirium is a Blumhouse film that nobody's talking about, but it was very, very good, and it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Delirium was awesome. Like, it has the 70s show guy who played Venom in Spider-Man 3. I forget his name.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace comes on this, and he's in house arrest, and he's just got released from a mental asylum. So he's dealing with all this shit in his house, and you don't know if it's him being still mentally fucking ill or the house is literally haunted. And Delirium just plays with this so fucking well. Like, I'm amazed that nobody's talking about this Blumhouse film
Mhm.
because it was really cool. It was fun to watch.
Kind of reminds me of Dead Space 3 with all the dementia moments in the
Oh,
game. Because if you do side story, if you do co-op in Dead Space 3, there'll be moment like you play as Isaac, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but as you're playing the game, like you will see shit that the other guy's not seeing, and so it'll look like the guy that you're playing with is like walking around just doing stupid shit. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't see this shit? You don't see the fucking you don't see the necromorph right in front of me, like fucking trying to kill me? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Oh, dude.
And your dude just kind of, the other guy's like, no,
What are you talking about?
what are you talking about? But if you stop moving, it fucking kills you.
It's like
And
Eternal
so your
Darkness
guys,
for GameCube.
yeah, your player 2's looking at you fucking like bleeding on the ground. Game over. What the fuck?
What'd you do?
Way to spoil the game, Ralph.
That game came out like what?
10 years ago.
Yeah. But oh my god, it had a really fucking cool trailer
It
though.
did.
Well, Blumhouse on Hulu, Blumhouse has a fucking TV show called Into the Dark. Every fucking month, Blumhouse is giving us a feature-length episode, like an hour and 30-minute episode of this TV show that's literally showing you feature Blumhouse films every month. There was The Body in October. I forget the November release, and then Puka just released in December. Puka is
You know, if you took this much energy and time, Jeff, and like did something useful with it, you'd probably cure cancer, man. Like,
He
no
does.
kidding.
He makes a fucking
That's
amazing
what I'm
podcast.
saying. He's going to give himself eye cancer, but he could probably cure it if he fucking would have.
I just put myself towards something else. Yeah, I like. I
Just readjust that
And this
focus
is-
real
and-
quick.
For real. I got a wonderful electrolysis machine that'll zap you.
and
You
then
can just supercharge that brain real quick.
center you.
Yeah, you'll see a little bit of lightning bolts in your vision and taste metal in your mouth, but you'll be fine.
But yeah, these are all great. great fucking horror films to give a shot to. Because
Fucking chime in the Joker from fucking Assault on Arkham. Someone's getting their brains rattled.
I'm thinking more of long lines of like Hitchhiker's Guide when he puts on the lemon hat.
Oh,
He
yeah.
calls it a thinking cap. That'll give him some zest.
That's
for
awesome.
about an hour or so.
That's also on Netflix.
Yeah, it is.
That one is.
God, it pisses me off when that movie leaves Netflix because it's been off and on there for like 5 years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it leaves, it's like, how dare you? And then
dare
like
you.
4
And-
months later, it'll be on. It's like, ah.
But yet you're willing to pay $100 fucking million just to keep Friends on there for another year.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you, sir. Fuck you, sir.
Well, people love that show.
Yeah, they do.
I just don't get it.
I stream it every year.
I try to watch it, and I
Dude,
can't.
I go through
I won't be there for you.
I go through every season, every episode, every season.
No, no, I can't do that.
Uh,
Now, if you brought back like Rambo the cartoon, hell yeah, you
Forgot
got a
about that.
subscriber.
I like that British baking show too.
You know what?
Greatest British Baking Show.
yes.
There was
Yes.
a really
Amazing.
good show called like Most Extraordinary Homes.
Yeah.
And it's with two British people. I can't remember the fucking name off the top of my head for some reason. But like, it's really good, but then they don't explore the house. All they do is blabber on and on and on. And they're like sitting in by the pool of this like gorgeous house, and they show like the living room and the kitchen. And that's it. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Like, I want to see the
Yeah,
bedrooms
you-
of these
I want to
places.
see I want to see where the magic fucking happens.
Yeah, really,
You
the
should see
closet.
The new show that
I
they
want to see
did.
the handprints in
uh,
the bed.
It's like great interiors, and they show like
Yeah.
a normal house outside, but inside the house, it's like this guy's used like Connex fucking boxes to create this like labyrinth within his home. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. It looks like a normal house outside, but inside it's like a fucking like man cave throughout
When-
the whole house or some shit.
You see that guy that did the
Weird thing.
carnival?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking
I
rad.
was like,
The
amazed.
Winchester house made out of Connex boxes.
Pretty much.
Dude.
It's like, really?
It's neat. Like, you know, these normal looking homes just are fucking decked out. Like this one lady, she was kooky as fuck. Everything in her house was pink. Even her dog was dyed pink. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, she was wearing all pink, and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And this was like an apartment. All pink. Pink appliances. Pink fucking microwave. Pink plates. Pink. Fuck it. Next. Like, I can't.
Yeah, fuck
I
that.
can't sit and watch it too much longer.
So, but anyway, before we get into another tangent and talk about other fucking things that are pink,
And let me
blue, or
say
purple.
this. No,
Shit, motherfucker. Before we get into another tangent on everything, this is essentially our list for the greatest, or what we thought were great for this year. If you have anything else that you want to add, fucking comment on the fucking link that we end up posting for this. Tell us something that we might have missed. We might have watched and just didn't care, or we might have watched it and just didn't think that it was something worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But fucking, this is what we thought was the greatest for this year, what we thought was the shittiest for this year. Agree, disagree, whatever have you. Let us know. But until we chat again and we get to talk in y'all's ear again, fucking Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whatever holiday you want to go with, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, I'm
Feliz
blanking.
Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Any other fucking terms and conditions that you want to talk about?
I know
Happy
French.
holidays. Happy holidays to all of y'all. Happy New Year. We'll see y'all then. This is Ralph.
This is Jeff.
Party Halloween.
I did that. I called you that one day. Let's see if you fucking replied.
This is Nathan.
Keep it scary.
Keep it merry.
Very scary.
Thank you for listening to Deep in the Horror of Texas. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. If you like what you hear, please leave a review on the iTunes or Stitcher radio app. And above all, remember to keep it scary.
All movie sound clips, sound effects, and music used in Deep in the Horror of Texas is owned by the copyright holders. Deep in the Horror of Texas makes no claim of ownership on the copyrighted audio and simply uses it for the sole purpose of entertainment, criticism, commentary, and education under fair use. Please support the official release of the audio used in today's episode where available to you, and remember to keep it scary.